to dip in to the Player of the Year awards, boys. Here we go. It's round 10. Just gone after all. Here we go.
We're 10 rounds in to the Betfred Super League season, so it's time to check in on the 2025 Player of the Year awards. Starting with the Albert Goldthorpe Medal. Leading the charge is Jake Connor on 16 points. Behind him in second place is Jai Field of the Wigan Warriors with 13. In joint third is Aidan Caesar and Lachlan Lamb with 12, with Mikey Lewis in fourth with 10 points. The Steve Prescott Man of Steel. Leading the table after 10 rounds is Jake Connor of the Leeds Rhinos with 16 points. Herman SASA is second with 13 points. Nick Kotrick of the Catalan Dragons, he's got 12 and he's in third. And in joint fourth is Jai Field of the Wigan Warriors and Aidan Caesar of Hull FC, both on 10 points. The Super League Raw Trophy 2025. Leading the table is Junior Intember of the Wigan Warriors, consistent as ever. He has 18 points, and in joint second with 17 points are Herman SASA of Hull FC, Bevan French of the Wigan Warriors, Mikey Lewis of the Robins, and Jai Field of the Wigan Warriors. These are the Player of the Year awards after 10 rounds of the Betfred Super League.
So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. There you jolly well go. Let's start with the Goldthorpe then. Like I say, 10 rounds in. Jake Connor leading. Interesting that no Jake in ours, which is interesting. He's just outside the top two in ours. But Jake leading on two fronts at this moment in time. Field also appearing. Greg, your thoughts on the Goldthorpe, mate? The top five.
They've had decent seasons so far. Aidan Caesar's probably the most improved player out of those, I would have thought. But as I said a few weeks ago, I think Jake Connor's been given the opportunity to express himself. And you know, Jake Connor isn't a player that you can coach. He's naturally gifted, and I think that might have been the problem in the past, in that coaches have tried to control him. It's clear at Leeds, or to me it is anyway, maybe somebody can correct me on this, but it's clear at Leeds he's been told, go out there and do what you do. And it looks like he's enjoying his rugby, and you know, he's played really, really well. Yeah, you know, I'm surprised Mikey Lewis is down there, but he's had a few knocks. Lachlan Lamb's played well. You know, Aidan Caesar probably, as I said, on that list, the most improved player, I would have thought. Still a bit of a surprise, though.
Yeah, I think Caesar got. I mean, and again, I think this is the interesting thing about the Goldthorpe is that, you know, we're 10 rounds in, they don't do what we do, which is and again, just for people who are new to the show, I'll just explain what we do. So we do the 3-2-1 exactly like the Man of Steel and the Goldthorpe do. But what we also do is Team of the Week. Anybody who gets into Team of the Week gets an additional point. Anybody who gets into Team of the Month gets an additional 2 points, because that's consistency. They've had to play all of the games in that period. That to qualify, because it's about consistency, and they have to be the best in their position over the course of those 3 to 4 games. They get an extra 2 points, and our Player of the Month gets an additional 3 points. So over the course of a season, it sorts itself out a little bit. So it's a bit early doors at the moment. Don't know what the interference is. It's a bit early doors at the moment. Don't know where's that coming from. Is it coming from Reggie? I think it's coming from Reggie. I just turned you up for a moment. Anyway, we carry on.
My magnetic personality, sir.
We digress. But yeah, that's how we do ours. So like I say, I think Caesar's there because he had a great start. I mean, and really pallowed on the points very, very early. Steph, Lachlan Lamb, should he be top 5 this stage of the season for you?
Well, my point on the Goldthorpe is they're all pretty much halfbacks, aren't they, apart from Jai Field? So they're kind of easy picks. Lachlan Lamb, top assist in Super League at the moment, so that's probably what's getting him up there with the Albert Goldthorpe. It's not my list. Obviously, we have a segment dedicated to why the Albert Goldthorpe is ridiculous at some points. But yeah, for me, the thing that just jumps off the page with this one is the very easy picks.
Yeah, and we've said this a lot, haven't we, Joel? You know, we like to. We'll get to our list in a minute, but we you know, I think what we see is that, you know, those middle unit players don't get a fair crack of the whip, do they?
No, they don't. And it's never reflected because they don't do the flashy things. They don't do the stuff that most rugby league fans or any sport fans enjoy seeing. People like the goals, people like the tries. But we always know that the forwards win the games. So it's a shame that they don't get the plaudits that they should, and it's a great reason why Super League Raw's table reflects as such. And of course, when it comes back up again, we'll see that certainly does reflect the hard work that goes into not just the backs but also the forwards.
Mate, I'm smiling there because you say that the they don't do the flashy stuff. Even when they do, it gets given to someone else. Jai Whitbread's run in the semi. I mean, I know it doesn't qualify for the Goldthorpe, but Jai Whitbread does a storming run on the left-hand side, breaks the line, passes it to Lewis. Lewis falls over the line, and Brian Noble talks about Lewis. And it was all about Jai Whitbread. You're like, what chance have you got? Unbelievable. Anyway, we'll move over. We'll move over to the Man of Steel, the Steve Prescott Man of Steel. Herman Essay up there, which is good to see. I have to say, Connor is still leading that. Nick Kotrick. If ever there is a name, and this is no disrespect, I think Kotrick's playing well for the Dragons. He's not playing good rugby league. He's playing good rugby league, but this is a player of the season award. Does anybody see Nick Kotrick in the top 5 players of Super League 2025 thus far?
No. Yeah, and this is
For the minute now.
This is the problem with the scoring system, where we've got it slightly better in terms of we're rewarding consistency. And you'll see when ours flips over, there's 3 Wigan players. That will never happen in Man of Steel because the way that the points are given in theirs, rather than awarding additional ones for Team of the Week and Team of the Month and things like that. That's why you'll always get one. Like Mark Sneed was one at Salford, wasn't he? He was always going to be there because he's a halfback. He's always going to get the plaudits for it. So there's no way Kotrick should be in that top 5.
No. Very similar to the Albert Goldthorpe. So in the interest of time, because we can get into debate on other things, we'll move on to ours. Junior Nsemba, and this is the thing. People think Junior Nsemba. Well, yeah, because it's about consistency. He's picked up a lot of. I think he's been in at least 2 Team of the Months. So he's got 4 points there straight away. That consistency has certainly got him up the table. I mean, nobody can argue that Herman Essay. I mean, again, you go back to the Goldthorpe. How's Herman Essay? Not, all right. He's had a couple of slightly off weeks, but Herman Essay has been the best prop in Super League by a street and should be competing. Field is having probably his best season for 2 years. Mikey Lewis is Mikey Lewis, and Bevan French is Bevan French. Just for clarity, because people are probably asking, I'll just go a little bit further. Underneath them on 16 is Caesar and Connor, so they're not a million miles off on ours either. 14 points, Sam Walters, off the back of an exceptional April, playing out of position at prop, got a lot of points in April for that, rightly so. Harry Robertson's in there, Mike McMeekin's there, James McDonnell, there's another one, Jack Broadbent, Arthur Morg, Jay Pitts, John Asiata, Aspiro Bichet. I don't know how many that is. That's about 22 places I've just gone through, but listen to the names. Variety of positions, no favoritism, the way it should be. Greg, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think that's a more reflective of the players' performances in Super League, all down to your hard work putting those statistics together, Dave. I'm wondering whether it's time that we rename the Man of Steel just to Super League Player of the Year or Player of the Year, because Man of Steel doesn't really reflect the fact, when somebody says Man of Steel to me, I think of a forward who's running through brick walls, who makes a space for those flashy halfbacks and those flashy fullbacks to run through the gaps they've caused and to take the glory. So I wonder, it might be a controversial decision. Do we think about the name, the Man of Steel, and change it? Because it doesn't really reflect, for me, the hard work that forwards and that put in. They are they're the This is no disrespect. I'm not going to argue with anybody on a rugby league field, but for me, Man of Steel for me. If I get an image of Man of Steel, it's a prop, it's a second rower, it's a loose forward, creating those gaps for the creative players to start running through. And so maybe it's time to think of a rename of the trophy. Controversial, I know.
I'm gonna, before people start getting a bit upset over those comments that Reg has just made. Let me just back him up for a second. He's not saying rename it from Steve Prescott.
No, the Steve Prescott Player of the Year.
Because there'll be a few people that will listen to that and go, "That's disrespectful." Greg,
not suggesting that for a moment.
Exactly, and I know you're not. It's the Man of Steel element of it that Greg is suggesting it's changed, not the tribute to Steve Prescott. Joel, your thoughts on it, and like I said, those middle units. Great point that Greg makes. We've got a young player of the year. It tends to be backs that. I can't try to remember who the last forward was. To win, was it Jamie Peacock? Are we going that far back? I can't remember that.
Was it not Goldthorpe?
No, Peacock was after him. We might be going back all the way to Peacock here. I mean, that's ridiculous. So, in the spirit of, we've got a young player of the year, we've got the Steve Prescott Man of Steel that tends to go to halfback. Should there be a third award in terms of hard meter maker of the year or middle unit of the year, whatever it may be? Because unlike Australia, where they make the Dally M really does, we don't really sing and wax lyrical over the dream team. It tends to just be a quick post and a photo. There's certainly no dinner for it.
Paul McShane, it was 2020.
Paul McShane. No, Paul McShane's hooker.
Yeah, it's a forward.
No.
Forward.
No, we don't. No.
Forward.
No, mate. Modern day hooker is more a halfback in the middle.
If you take hookers out, it was James Graham in 2008.
James Graham.
There's a Man of Steel.
There's a Man of Steel. Yeah, exactly. That we can live with that. Happy days.
So, as you were asking, how I'd do it would be the Steve Prescott Player of the Year award.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'd do with that is that would take everything into account as they do now. So, try scored, tackles, all that good stuff that we love watching. Then the Man of Steel is a separate award that holds just as much esteem as the Steve Prescott Player of the Year award. And that tries would be deducted from that. So you cannot count tries as a part of that. And then that is just your pure great for your carries, your line breaks, your meters made, your carries, everything that would encompass what any rugby player can do, be it a forward or not. And I think then if you've got them two awards there, we then have a pure Man of Steel and Player of the Year award. And I think that would go down really well with the fans.
Steph, anything to add on that?
The way I'd do it is I would have 3-2-1s on forwards and backs for both. In terms of the game, I would I'd split it, and then you would get more consistency then with performances, and not just going to halfbacks all the time.
Yeah, I mean, Craig Forth there saying forward of the year, back of the year, break it down into two trophies. I think, and again, I just stumbled across it in terms of what I said when Joe was talking. We don't do the big hoo-ha dinner for, and let's be fair, 27 rounds of Super League, you're the best in your position. Come on, Rugby Football League. That's deserving of a dinner. That's deserving of a big fanfare, of a proper night where those players with the wives and the families can come along and feel as if, they are revered, because they are revered. They put the bodies on the line for 27 rounds. You'd like to think that, I know we've had a couple over the years where you've had players who played half the season being in the dream team. They need to tidy that up. But the fact of the matter is, if they're in the Super League official dream team, should be a dinner. Bit of fanfare, and make them feel.
That one I just said would do it, though, wouldn't it? If we split it into, you get 3-2-1 for forwards and backs, you could have the forward of the year, back of the year, but then the overall winner would still be,
But also the dream team. I think those 13 players, Steph, because you'd like to think that the forward of the year is in the dream. I mean, and I smile when I say this, because how many times have we seen in, for example, the Goldthorpe, that the journalist has given man of the match to the player and he's not even in the 3-2-1, and you're like, what's going on here? So for me, you'd like to think that the forward, the back, and the youngster. I mean, the youngster not necessarily, Not necessarily, because the youngsters probably might have played sub 15 games, unless it's a breakout season and they've played a shot. I mean, for example, Harry Robertson got his injury at the moment, but if he played 27 rounds the way he was playing before he got injured, he'd probably cakewalk Young Player of the Year the way he was playing. And rightly so. Would he be in the dream team? Don't know. He's in some pretty hot company there with the likes of Petter Hiku, Wardle, etc., etc. So the young player might not make the 13, but he'd still be at the dinner. But yeah, for me, just final bit thing for me on this is that for me, we are passionate about giving our superstars the platform that they deserve. Rugby Football League, the dream team is deserving of a dinner.
Ross, yes. Let's have the dream team announced at the Man of Steel Awards and give them recognition.
That would be a cost-effective way.
Say again?
Yeah, cost-effective way of doing it. Absolutely.
Announce it on the night. Who's in the dream team? Announce it on the night. They get their recognition. They get the round of applause. Their families are with them. Makes perfect sense.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I mean, Craig there asking, should the dream team be a points-based system? Not on the points that they do, mate. No. On ours, you'd like, the way we operate, I'll guarantee that our dream team, all of the people that will be in our dream team at the end of the season, will be very highly, will be right up there in terms of our league table, because, like I say, that consistency piece and the team in a month and the way we do it will dictate that the best in their position to get more points, and rightly so. But anyway, that's just a sideline.